Have you ever just stopped and thought, being human is kinda painful, you know? That the same thing inside you that feels wonder looking at a sunset is the exact same thing that floods you with anxiety at 3 in the morning? Well, we're gonna dive into that today because we're exploring why our greatest gift, our self-awareness, might also be our heaviest burden.
You know, it all kicked off with just one simple act. At some point, way back in our past, one of our ancestors asked the first question. And in that moment, that little flicker of curiosity, that was the spark of self-awareness.
And wow, did that spark become a fire? This newfound awareness was the one thing that truly fundamentally set us apart from every other animal on the planet. It was a power like nothing else, and it was about to change everything.
I mean, think about the powers this fire gave us. Suddenly, we could actually understand ourselves and the world around us. We could remember the past, but not just remember it, learn from it. And we could imagine the future and plan for it. We started asking why all the time, and we used those answers to completely reshape our world, even to overcome the very limits of our own biology. This is, without a doubt, why we're here today.
But, and this is a huge but, that incredible gift, the very engine of our success, it's also a terrible double-edged sword. And this, right here, is where the core of the human problem really starts to take shape.
You see, it was a brutal trade-off. For every amazing gift we got, there was a heavy price to pay. The power to comprehend the universe, it also came with the ability to see our own tiny, fragile limits. That incredible drive to conquer and build, it's haunted by this nagging perception of our own futility. And that deep human need to matter, it's met with the ice-cold clarity that we have to witness our own suffering.
So what does that do to us? It puts us in this really weird spot. It's like we're supposed to be the main character, the director of our own life story. But our self-awareness often shoves us into a seat in the audience, giving us a front-row view to watch our own struggles, our own mistakes, our own heartbreaks playing out right in front of us, often completely against our will.
And that right there, that leads us straight into the fundamental paradox of being human. For centuries, thinkers have wrestled with this bizarre position we're in, caught somewhere between being a god and being a worm.
And let me be clear, this isn't just some abstract philosophical puzzle. For a lot of us, this is a terrifying, very real, everyday dilemma. It is the conflict that beats at the very heart of our existence.
The cultural anthropologist Ernest Becker just nailed it. He said, with our minds, we're creators. We can dream of the stars, we can understand atoms, but we live inside this physical body that, is worm food. We are, as he put it, both up in the stars and hopelessly in nature. A truly terrifying dilemma to have to live with, right?
Now this problem, it's not new, not at all. But it has gotten so much more intense over time. For thousands of years, we had myths, religions, big stories that kind of shielded us, that gave us a sense of order and meaning. But then came the cognitive and scientific revolutions, and those comforting old stories started to crumble under the weight of all this new knowledge. Which leaves us right here, today, in what you could call the age of awareness, where that comfortable ignorance just isn't an option anymore.
You know, H.P. Lovecraft wrote about this almost a century ago. He had this fear that one day we'd piece all our knowledge together and it would open up such terrifying vistas of reality that we would either go completely insane or just run away from the light into a new dark age. And you have to wonder, today with the internet feeding us constant, overwhelming information, aren't we kind of living in those terrifying vistas he was talking about?
So when you look at all of this, it's pretty easy to feel, well, a little crushed, right? I mean, if our own awareness is the source of the problem and our awareness is only getting bigger, is our existence just hopeless?
No, absolutely not. Because the very thing that causes the wound is also what can heal it. The answer isn't to solve the paradox, it's to embrace it. Our self-awareness isn't just a curse, it's our lifeline.
And here is the absolute key insight. Our highly developed consciousness, it's both the poison and the antidote. Yes, it allows us to feel pain with a kind of intensity no other creature can, but it also gives us the unique ability to find meaning inside of that pain. So, okay, how do we actually do that? Well, first, we create. We use our awareness to turn suffering into something meaningful, through art, through science, through simple curiosity. Second, we discover. We can stand at the edge of the vast, unknowable universe and feel a profound sense of beauty and wonder, not just fear. And finally, and this is probably the most important one, we love.
We use our awareness to truly understand what it means to love, whether it's another person or an idea or life itself, and we can choose to love it in spite of all its absurdity.
So ultimately, when you boil it all down, the takeaway is this. Being human isn't a problem that you need to fix. This tension, this paradox of being both a god and a worm, that's not a flaw in the system. That is the system. That's the condition of our existence. So the goal isn't to escape it. It's to live within it, to use it, and to fully embrace the beautiful, terrifying, and wondrous struggle of being self-aware.